The student screams in agony. A doctor leans over her. She writhes in pain, clutching the sheets before passing out. 9 months earlier, the same student works as a waitress, her face etched with worry about her tuition fee. She peeks through a closing door, watching a woman with a bloody hand get dragged away. The student stares in shock. Through the peephole, she sees a blindfolded man light a cigar with a burning banknote. He leans back, smoking calmly. She walks in timidly with a bottle of wine, but trips, falling directly into his lap. The bottle flies through the air. He catches her, his face inches from hers. He inhales her scent, a strange look on his face. She scrambles away from him, bowing apologetically. He stands, still blindfolded, and points directly at her. His assistant approaches her, gesturing for her to follow. She shakes her head in fear, but he grabs her arm, speaking to her with intensity. She tries to run, but hesitates at a hotel room door. Steeling herself, she enters. The blindfolded CEO waits inside. Wearing only a silk robe, she approaches him slowly, then suddenly kisses him. He recoils in shock, grabbing her shirt, his face contorting in anger. He shouts, but she looks at him with desperate eyes, and kisses him again, pulling him close. He resists, then gives in, pulling her down onto the couch. He kisses her fiercely, pinning her beneath him. The next morning, she checks her phone. A final notice for her tuition fee. The CEO awakens behind her, his blindfold gone. He gently touches her hair. She looks at him, pleading, a desperate request in her eyes. His expression turns to stone, of cold disappointment. He agrees curtly, then walks away, leaving her on the bed. Later, dressed in a suit, he gives a final dismissive order to his assistant in the hallway. He turns and walks away without a backward glance. Back in the room, the student picks up his discarded blindfold, a single character embroidered in gold. 9 months later, the girl screams in the delivery room. The doctor urges her on. A baby cries, "It's a boy," she screams again. The doctor looks down, then back at her in shock. There's another and another. She's having triplets. The girl passes out from the strain. Later, she wakes up in a panic. She finds an empty crib with her name on it. Fear grips her. She spots a nurse with a baby and rushes over, grabbing her arm desperately. The nurse delivers devastating news. Debating sees, the mother's face falls in horror. The girl collapses at the doctor's feet, begging for help. She bows her head to the floor, desperate. The doctor explains the procedure, then hands her a bill for $1 million. The girl's eyes widen in disbelief. She clutches the paper, tears streaming down her face. The doctor suggests she call the father, but the girl shakes her head violently. At a secluded villa, the blindfolded CEO clutches his chest. A sudden sharp pain, he calls out, but it's only his mother. She complains about not having grandchildren. The CEO sits impassively. His mother claps her hands, summoning a group of muscular men. They parade in front of the CEO, flexing. He remains unmoved. His mother presses him about his preferences. A flashback of his night with the girl flashes through his mind. Meanwhile, the girl stands outside the CEO's villa, clutching the silk blindfold. She looks up at the grand entrance, her face a mask of hope and desperation. The CEO's assistant opens the door. Recognizing the girl instantly, she pleads with him, tears in her eyes, explaining that their children are sick. He scoffs, then shoves her away, slamming the door in her face. She collapses on the steps, sobbing uncontrollably. Inside, the CEO's mother hears the commotion, but the assistant dismisses it. The mother continues to pester her son, who finally speaks, his voice filled with despair. The assistant realizes the CEO's blindness is the real reason he won't marry. The mother's expression softens. She orders the assistant to find a cornea donor. The assistant bows and leaves. That night, the girl wanders the rainy streets, desperately searching for work, but is rejected everywhere she goes. She collapses in the street, crying out in frustration. A woman tells her she must have angered someone powerful and throws her out. The girl is left alone in the pouring rain. Defeated, she resorts to collecting plastic bottles from the street. As she gathers them, a black car passes by. Inside, the blindfolded CEO sits in the back seat. The girl sees him. A flicker of hope in her eyes. She chases after the car, screaming his name, but trips and falls. The assistant sees her in the rearview mirror, but tells the CEO it's nothing. The girl's cries echo through the rain. The CEO's head whips around, his face tense. He orders the driver to stop the car. The car pulls away, leaving the girl weeping in the street. She crawls back to the hospital, exhausted and soaked. She peeks into the nursery, her heart aching as she watches her babies. She whispers promises to them through the door, her voice cracking with emotion. Suddenly, a heart monitor flatlines. Nurses and doctors rush past her. She tries to follow, but they close the door in her face. She pounds on the glass, screaming for her babies. A doctor emerges and tells her to pay the surgery fee immediately. The girl empties her pockets, revealing only a few crumpled bills. At that moment, the CEO's mother walks down the hall with the hospital director. The girl sees her and rushes over, offering her own corneas in exchange for her children's medical bills. The director scoffs, but the mother looks at the girl with a mixture of pity and curiosity. She agrees to the deal, a faint smile on her face. The girl is wheeled into surgery, thanking the mother profusely. As they prepare her for the operation, she sees another gurney being wheeled in. It's the CEO. She stares at him in stunned silence. In the operating room, the girl lies on the gurney. A single tear escapes her eye as she drifts into unconsciousness. The operating light shines down on her. After the surgery, the CEO wakes up in a hospital bed. His vision clear. He sits up, stunned. His mother and assistant rush to his side. Overjoyed, he asks, "What happened?" And his mother explains about the cornea transplant. The CEO is furious, but his mother insists the donor was a volunteer, a kind girl who needed money for her sick children. The CEO's expression softens, a flicker of recognition in his eyes. He orders his assistant to find her immediately. Meanwhile, the girl wakes up in a different room. She stumbles out of bed and falls, cutting her hand on a broken glass. Suddenly, the door bursts open, revealing a man and a woman, her adoptive parents. The man grabs her, his face contorted with rage. He berates her for running away and getting pregnant. He raises his hand to strike her, but the woman stops him, reminding him of their plan. The girl struggles, screaming that she won't go. The man grabs her by the hair, his voice dripping with venom. He tells her she's worthless. Just as he's about to strike her again, the door flies open. The CEO stands in the doorway, his eyes blazing with fury. The CEO bursts into the empty hospital room, his mother and assistant close behind. He stares at the empty bed, his face a mask of cold fury. He orders his men to search the entire city. Outside, the girl's adoptive parents are forcing her into a car. The CEO searches the streets, a growing sense of urgency on his face. He spots the struggle from a distance. The girl recognizes his voice, a glimmer of hope in her eyes. She tries to call out to him, but her adoptive father clamps a hand over her mouth. He tries to pass her off as his mentally ill daughter, but the CEO isn't fooled. The girl manages to bite her father's hand and break free. She collapses at the CEO's feet, begging him for help. The assistant recognizes her as the girl from 9 months ago. The CEO stares down at her, a memory of their night together flashing in his mind. He turns to walk away, but she calls out again, telling him she has his child. He freezes, turning back to her in shock. The girl repeats her claim, but her adoptive father interrupts, feigning despair and accusing her of being a liar. The CEO's face hardens, convinced she's trying to scam him. He turns to leave, but she grabs his arm, pleading with him to believe her, but he coldly pries her fingers from his coat, his face a mask of disgust. As her parents drag her away, she cries out one last time. He rushes back to the hospital, his mother in tow, and finds the triplets in the nursery. His mother picks one up, marveling at how much he looks like the CEO as a baby. The CEO dismisses it, but then he spots his silk blindfold tied to the crib. He picks it up, staring at the gold-embroidered character, a dawning realization on his face. Just then, his assistant rushes in with a file. It's the donor's medical records. The CEO snatches the file and opens it. His eyes widen in shock as he sees the girl's photo. The girl's adoptive parents sell her to a gangster, who plans to sell her again. They drag her away, leaving her parents to count their money. Back at the hospital, the CEO stares at the medical file, his face a mask of shock and regret. He realizes the girl's story was true. His mother is stunned by the revelation. The CEO is overcome with guilt. Remembering how he pushed her away, he punches a wall in frustration. His mother blames him for the girl's disappearance and threatens to disown him if anything happens to her. The CEO orders his men to find the girl's parents and bring them back, his voice cold with fury. The girl struggles against her captors, biting one of them and making a run for it. The gangster orders his men to chase her. She runs blindly down a dark road, right into the path of an oncoming car. Her adoptive mother rushes to her side. The girl pleads with her, but her adoptive father is only interested in the money. The gangster and his men catch up to her, ready to drag her away. Suddenly, a fleet of black cars pulls up. The CEO steps out, his face a mask of cold fury. He draws a gun, aiming it at the gangsters, a chilling warning in his eyes. The CEO's men swarm the scene, apprehending the gangsters and the girl's adoptive parents. The CEO rushes to the girl's side, wrapping his coat around her and holding her close. He apologizes for being late, his voice thick with emotion. She looks up at him, her eyes filled with tears, and asks if it's really him. He assures her it is, and she collapses in his arms. Relieved, her adoptive father starts shouting abuse at her, but the CEO's assistant silences him with a swift strike. The gangster, still defiant, boasts about his connections to the CEO. The CEO's assistant informs him that the man he's threatening is, in fact, the CEO himself. The gangster and the adoptive parents stare in horror, their faces pale with fear. The gangster attacks the adoptive father, blaming him for the whole ordeal, but the CEO's assistant quickly subdues him. The gangster grovels at the CEO's feet, but the CEO is unmoved. The adoptive father continues to hurl insults at the girl, but the CEO calmly reveals that he is the father of her children. The adoptive parents and the gangster stare in disbelief. The girl, weak but relieved, collapses into the CEO's arms. He scoops her up and carries her to the car, ordering his men to take the others to the police. He promises to make them pay for what they've done. The CEO sits by the girl's bedside, pouring her a glass of water as she sleeps. A doctor informs him that the girl is extremely weak and needs to rest. The CEO is overcome with guilt, vowing to never let her suffer again. The girl wakes up screaming from a nightmare. The CEO rushes to comfort her, assuring her that he's found the best doctors for their children. He promises to take care of them and asks her for another chance. The girl is hesitant, but he confesses that it's he who is unworthy of her. He almost reveals that her corneas were transplanted into him but stops himself, deciding to wait until she recovers. As he steps out to take a call, two nurses enter the room, gossiping about how lucky the blind girl is to have won the CEO's affection. The girl overhears them and realizes the truth. Her eyes were given to the CEO. The CEO returns to the room, finding the nurses gone. He approaches the girl, who confronts him about the transplant. He admits the truth, and she smiles, relieved that her sacrifice was for him. The CEO is touched by her selflessness. He tells her she's the purest person he's ever met, and gently kisses her. Just then, his mother bursts in, calling the girl her daughter-in-law. The CEO and the girl spring apart. The CEO's mother sits by the girl's bedside, her heart aching for the young woman's suffering. She hands the girl a folder, telling her to sign the papers inside. The girl is confused, but the mother explains it's a transfer of company shares, making her the largest shareholder. The girl refuses, but the mother insists, saying it's the least they can do after all she's done for them. The CEO agrees, and the girl reluctantly signs. The mother then summons a group of men, her new seeing eye bodyguards. The CEO dismisses them, declaring that he will be the girl's eyes from now on. His mother, delighted, tells them to go get married immediately. The girl is overjoyed, but the CEO suddenly refuses, his face grim. The girl's smile vanishes, replaced by a look of shock and heartbreak. The CEO's mother is flustered by their kiss, but quickly recovers, saying he wants to give her the grandest wedding imaginable. The girl is touched by his words, and they agree to take things slow. The CEO carries her into the mansion, where the staff are lined up to greet them. He gently sets her down, but she refuses to let him carry her to her room. He reluctantly agrees, instructing a servant to escort her, a hint of a smile playing on his lips as he watches her go.